great. I've been looking forward to this segment for a while now. 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Robin, who is not here, has gone to the Ocala Civic Theater and seen the shows over there for probably 40-something years, even before it was in the location it's in now. Which
when it was in the little white building.
I don't think I was ever even in the building. I don't know. And I enjoyed it. I went to see Guys and Dolls one time, maybe 10, 15 years ago.
We're talking community theater,
something.
though. It's special.
It is really good. I mean, they are so good. So about a year ago or so, I started saying, well, because Robin would always invite me. She'd go out with her mom, and they'd say, hey, it was really good. Do you want to see this one, that one, the other one? And I think the one that really got me hooked was Mary Poppins, I think.
Oh, really?
I think that one got me hooked. And then I saw Shrek.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, all right. So there's an actor in Shrek who played the donkey. I think that was the name, right?
Very descriptive character.
And the actor is Deion Bruce Howard. If you've gone to the Ocala Civic Theater, you have seen Deion, probably. He played George in I Love a Piano, which is awesome. It's still on right now.
Yeah, last week.
Your ability
February
to do this,
4th,
by the way. And he is as George, which is almost like George, in La Cage aux Folles, which was unbelievable, too. We had the guy in here, the other guy, the cross-dresser guy.
Harrison.
Yeah. You were the donkey in Shrek. Did the donkey have a name? I can't remember.
No, just
donkey. I said that.
Shrek and Donkey.
Shrek and Donkey.
There you go.
Very descriptive.
Giles Ralston, is it Giles or Giles?
Giles.
In The Mousetrap. Mm-hmm. Joe in 9 to 5, the musical.
Mm-hmm.
Pablo in Sister Act. Yeah. Sammy in The Blood Brothers, and a whole lot more. And in addition to that, my notes, thank you, Robin, a patient services specialist with Florida Cancer Specialists. And you're a chef.
I'm a graduate of Le Cordon Bleu in Orlando.
Le Cordon Bleu.
Le Cordon Bleu.
Well, so Deion, thank you for coming in. Deion Bruce Howard, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
So I was telling you off the air that this is an unusual interview in that you're not here to promote anything. You're just here because I like you.
Well, thank you.
Aren't we special today?
I feel very special, yes.
Yeah, and I wanted to get to know you. I mean, I see you on stage all the time, and you're like somebody different. And so it's hard to see the real person when an actor is good at acting, you know?
Well, thank you.
And as much as you probably like John Wayne, Joe.
Thank you.
Right?
Oh, wow.
He was always the same guy.
Right.
Right?
Oh, off camera and on camera, he was.
Was he?
I knew his cook.
Oh, you know his cook?
Yeah, we're from way back on his yacht. Yeah.
But Deion, you transform. Is this a talent you've always had, to be able to transform?
I've always grown up as the class clown, everybody's friend, you know, and I've always done like character voices and accents, and I've always done that. So I guess you know, once I hit high school, I started doing theater, and I was like, man, you mean I can do this and actually not get yelled at for it? I mean,
wow.
Wait, that's something, not get yelled at.
Wow, it looks like you're having fun. I think you and Joe should be doing something together. Joe would be awesome. You used to do stage work, didn't you?
Yeah,
in the Carolinas?
Oh, nice.
Carolina. Yeah. I call it the sister to this one here, the Flat Rock Playhouse of Hendersonville.
Yeah.
And this one here is hooked up on.
Is that right?
When I moved here, it was like, you know them, and they used to.
And they know each other.
And they know each other, and they used to send costumes back and forth, and yeah.
Yeah. So do you tour at all? Do you go out?
No, I've never done any shows outside of Ocala.
So tell me about the first audition.
First audition, let's see. 2010. I was 18 years old. I went to the Ocala Civic Theater, and my first big audition was for a show they did called The Full Monty.
Okay.
I seen that show.
And I had read a little bit about it, and I was like, I really want to step out of high school. I really want to do stuff in the community.
Is that the one where they spin the box?
That's the one where they take off all their clothes.
Okay, but they don't spin a box in front of themselves?
No. I don't think
No,
so.
it was the Full Monty.
Oh, maybe that was...
If the lights didn't work.
Wait a minute, were you naked on stage?
No, I was not. I was. It was a funny story, actually.
At the Ocala Civic Theater?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had naked people on stage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was 2010. You never saw anything except for the last show, but
the last show?
Yeah,
The lights
that's a funny
Go
story.
ahead. Finish it up. Go ahead.
But yeah, we So the last show we get there and we're doing our show, and the guys in the show they're in their G-string. The whole show is about these small town guys. They want to put on a Chippendale show for their wives and their friends because their wives always went to the show, and they're like, oh man, we want to do that. So they get to it, and they're finally doing the big show, and this is the last scene of the show, and they take off all their clothes. They're doing it real slow. There's a nice slow jam playing, and so they get down this red G-string. And by this time, the audience is going wild. And everybody in the show that's not one of the guys on stage is in the audience because they're acting like they're part of the audience.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we're doing that, and then they take off their G-string. They got one hand going.
Oh, no.
And then they take the other one. They got that one, and the G-string's in their hand at this point.
Oh, my gosh.
And so right when you think they're about to show everything, the lights go out, and the big light board behind them that says the Full Monty blares bright lights, and you just see their silhouette.
And
well, the very last show,
oh no,
our light board occasionally will stick. The button, the go button will stick, and it will skip a cue. And we've had problems with that. It's never been a big deal. Like, oh man, go back. Well, that last show, when she pushes the button to go to the full lights, it went to full bow lights for our bows, which is full front lights on everything.
Oh
and
my gosh.
I kid you not, I don't think anybody saw anything because of how fast their reaction was.
Really?
It was immediate, and it was a total accident,
So that was the first one you auditioned for?
That's the first one I auditioned for.
That would have been nerve-wracking, I would think. Did you want to play the part of one of the guys that does that?
Yeah, there was a couple parts I wanted to play in that show, just for whether it was a song that they had that I really wanted to sing, but no, I got cast as she just said, oh, we want you in the show, but she didn't tell me what part. So I said, okay, well, that's weird. And we get to first day of rehearsals, and that's where we meet everybody in the cast, and we say our parts and stuff. And he's like, we got a couple people here who I haven't cast yet, but there's some roles I need to fill. I just want to see what we do. So we're reading, and I read for the dance instructor. He's like, how about you read for that? And he's like, oh, yep, that's it. So I was in a couple other numbers where I didn't have a name, but I was the dance instructor for that one scene, and it was so much fun.
Wow.
See a theme happen? No name, donkey, no name.
Right.
The one you're in now, the harmonies are so beautiful, and you guys have really. Were you familiar with Irving Berlin songs before this?
Yes, a lot of it is the melody, but you don't know the words. You don't know what the song is called. You're just like, oh, I've heard that before. White Christmas obviously is everybody's favorite.
The six of you are so good, and two of the actors are brother and sister, right?
Yes. Yeah, the younger ones are Josh Plant and Kelsey Plant. They're brother and sister, and when they found out that they were a couple in the show, we assured them over and over, you're not going to have to do anything crazy. So, but it's been so much fun, and it just their relationship together as brother and sister is just so cool because they're so close.
You probably both know what this feels like. So, Joe, if you want to comment on this one, what is it like when it's over? It seems like it would be leaving a family or sad or something.
It really is. Every single person on stage for this show I've actually worked with before, and they really are. I mean, it's like my second family over there. Every single person I'm involved in their lives. Like my friend moved to one of my best friends. She was Fiona in Shrek. She moved to Texas. Her husband is in the Army, and
oh my gosh,
he's stationed in Texas. So she moved over there, and it was so heartbreaking just to have her leave, and she's so talented. But we still keep in touch. I'm going to her wedding in June. I say the husband, it's her fiance right now. They're getting married in June. But it's like a big family. And when a show is over, it's like a little piece of you is left on the stage.
Yeah. You know it's done. The run is over.
Yeah.
But you wish it was a Broadway show because sometimes they go on for years.
Yeah.
And and you have fun, and they have. As we call it, the save.
Yeah.
When someone forgets a line or something else, someone will step in and say the line for that person, or they'll say, didn't you mean to say, or whatever. The audience has no idea that there was a boo-boo.
Yeah.
No.
But then at the end, when the curtain goes down, and go, yay! And they congratulate the guy or girl that saved them.
Right, yeah.
It looks like you guys have fun. From an audience perspective, I mean, you are brilliant. You really are. And I said to Robin, this guy's a star.
Yeah.
This guy, you shine, and not to take away from the other actors, but you do. And you
so much.
shine in every one of them. It's completely completely different roles and completely different people.
Thank you.
Night after night, he puts his all 100%. Like, well, I see him in Shrek. I haven't seen him in this, but because I look at plays differently.
Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah,
well, I look at the set, how things are put together, who's acting against who, and and you're looking stage right, and they're doing it, and I look at stage left and see what the other performers are supposed to be doing. They're not just sitting there picking their nose. They're supposed to be looking at them, or in other words, even though they're not the spotlighted person, they still do. They have their acting. They're still doing.
Yes. Yeah.
In his case, he was never off. Never off. I mean,
is it because you just have fun with it? Is that part of it?
It really is. You almost go into a trance. One of my favorite directors I've ever worked with. I've worked with her with 4 shows now. Katrina Plouffe. She's actually based out of Winter Haven. That's her home theater, but she's come up to do a few shows with us now. She says acting is not about what you're doing on your line. It's about your reactions to other people.
There you go.
You have one person saying a line, but you have 30 people watching them, and especially in a big musical. And it's boring if you're just watching that one person. Everybody else is just playing. You know?
Do you ever rehearse a show, and then when you're actually in front of an audience, realize that certain things that you thought would work don't, and things you never thought would work do?
Yeah. It's funny you say that. Actually, for me, the biggest thing that gets my character going, and I find out what works and what doesn't, is when we get costumes on. It's weird to say that, but when I'm I shouldn't say this because actors are supposed to be in full character well before costumes, but when I put a costume on for the first time, I get into character and I feel so much more energized and I do all these different things. I was like, wow, I didn't do this during the rehearsal process. It's so cool.
Shrek, we'll digress a little bit.
Right.
During Shrek, they had a lot of gas expulsion.
Yeah, they did. I remember that.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Then there was one spot where Shrek was whatever, and he walked off stage, and then Donkey came on and collapsed when he walked to that one spot. Like
the cloud,
the green cloud, quote unquote.
Yeah,
and it was like, as you say, working off another actor because that, and then he went. And you got to give kudos to the people that did the sound effects.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Because they were that particular part. If it wasn't timed right, you see a guy lifting his leg, and then all of a sudden, 10 seconds later, it had to be right on there. And it was.
And fun fact about that: those were not sound cues. Those were actually built into the keyboard. And the piano player plays.
I was doing it. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because it's actually written in the music. Note, fart. Note,
no
fart.
way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the piano player had to play. He's like, I don't trust a sound person because it's so rhythmic and timed, and the actors have been practicing it a certain way.
Oh gosh, really?
So he played it. He played it on his keyboard.
Oh, they put it in the keyboard.
You know what?
Yeah,
You just brought
That's
up I have a question about something, and
Yes.
I wondered if it ever happens for either of you guys. Okay. I saw this movie with Robin called, oh, please tell me the name of the movie.
Tell them the name of the movie.
It was the hold on, Les Miserables. Les Miserables?
Les
Miserables.
Yeah, Les Mis?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is, and I saw that, so I fell in love with this movie.
Yeah.
And it's probably 100 years you guys have seen it, but I just
seen the play years and years.
I just saw
ago.
it like a month ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I said, oh gosh, let me watch the how they made it videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they made it so that the actors and actresses sang. You're not watching them lip syncing.
Yes,
you're watching them sing.
Yes,
and so the piano guy was following them.
Yeah.
And then later on, the arranger had to write the orchestral part, so it followed the track that was laid down by the actor or actress.
Right.
Does that happen on stage ever, where you literally, especially like in this last one, where there's so much music, you literally are leading the band as opposed to the band leading you?
Yeah, it's more common for you to have to follow the orchestra, but there are some songs where if you don't say a certain thing or sing a certain thing, the orchestra cannot go on. You have to hit that note or the orchestra cannot go on. So they're waiting for you. It's like say there's a pause in the music,
right,
and you have to say a funny line or you have to sing something a cappella. They cannot start again until you do that because that's their cue, so to say. And there's a few moments, So
you sort of
songs.
do have an I guess the liberty to express whatever it is that you feel should be expressed?
Do you ever hold a note longer?
If I have the breath, no.
In other words, you sing the song and the note goes a beat and a half. Is it a beat and a half?
Right, yeah.
Could be.
But you hold it for 2 beats or maybe 2.5 because you just get so emotional into the thing. You just let it roll.
Right.
Do they roll with you, or all of a sudden you hear the music behind you going, "Oh shoot, I should have continued on"?
It depends on where it is. If it's at the very end of a phrase, you kind of have a little bit more liberty because they don't have any more music to play. They're done. He's maybe holding a note or doing like a little trill, and you can kind of hold that note out. If it's right before your next thing, it has to be in beat, or else now you're late for your next one.
Deion, Bruce Howard is in the studio with Joe and I, and he is among other things, he's an actor. That's how I know him anyway. It turns out you're also a patient services specialist with Florida cancer specialists. And you don't get paid to do the acting, do you?
It's all volunteer.
Wow.
Yep.
So it seems like your other job must be very stressful. Am I right?
It's
a cancer specialist.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say stressful because it's definitely got its rewarding moments, but it's definitely fast paced. We see about 100 patients a day.
Wow.
We have 4 doctors that come in and out of the office on different days, and I work check-in. That's my main thing right now is I check patients in. So I see every single patient that comes in, and it's I would say personally because I'm a people person. I love meeting people. I love hearing their story. I would say it's more rewarding just because I get to be on that journey with them.
What you do as an actor is you give us something.
Yeah.
And there's no other way to say that. When you leave a show, a well-done show, and you're not in anything other than well-done shows. Have you ever turned down a script?
I've never turned down a role. I've been turned down, but I've never turned down a role.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is it disappointing when you are turned down?
It is, especially if it's something I really have my heart set on. But then I go and see the show, and I'm like, oh, okay.
But you're so good at it. So in other words, whoever the casting person is, after all is said and done, you look at it and say, oh, I get it. Now I see why it wasn't me.
Very, very rarely do I say, oh, man, that should have been me. But
have you ever?
Once or twice. Once or twice.
We don't want to know which ones.
No. But no, it's directors know what they're doing. They know what they want, and they have a vision going into it.
What about the person you act opposite, male or female, especially if it's a singing role? Do you have some say in that? If, let's say, the other person doesn't harmonize well, do you go to whoever's directing the play and say, this isn't working? Or do they know it automatically?
They already know. We don't have any say in casting. We don't find out who else got cast usually until first day of rehearsals, which at that point the show has been set. The only time they will change the cast list is if a person drops out, if something comes up where they have to leave, Is it a learning place for like Broadway? I mean, could I eventually see you on Broadway? I'd like that to happen. It's definitely. I'm not sure if this is still true, but at one point in time, Ocala Civic Theater is one of the top 15 community theaters in the nation.
Is that right? I'm not surprised. Yeah. It really is good.
You never know if there's in baseball terms, there's a scout in the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You never know who's out there. No, it could be anybody.
No, we don't necessarily have scouts per se.
That you know of.
Right.
Well, that's why they're. They just pay a ticket and they just sit there and they watch it.
Right.
And then they'll leave, and then a week later, somebody will get a phone call.
Right. We did have an older gentleman who wrote reviews for the shows, and I think he writes for the Village's newspaper now. But that was about the biggest thing we had is, is his review out yet? But
oh my gosh! Well, we do impromptu reviews here.
Yeah.
Robin does them really. I mean, she'll come in after seeing a show.
Well, she only has so many thumbs,
Right.
And here's the secret behind Robin. Robin will never say something bad about something. So she'll always say something good. So for the listeners, here's how you know if Robin doesn't like it. If she just talks about it real short period and then goes on to something else. But if she carries on for like the whole segment,
right.
She loved it. And that's the way it's been for everything you've been.
We're not going to say that though out loud. No one. Shoot, the mic is on.
Oh my gosh. So what's next? What's the next show, or do you not know yet?
I'm working actually backstage for the next show coming up, which is The Giver, which it's based on the book written by Lois Lowry. If you've ever read it, it's a very good book.
The Giver.
Yes, it's
synopsis.
It is a young boy is in a dystopian society where you get your job assigned to you at age 13, and that's the job you do for the rest of your life.
Oh my gosh.
families are only allowed to have one boy and one girl. They can't have any more than that.
It's like communism in them.
Right. They don't have any memory of colors, emotions, feelings, anything outside the norm, and the society tells you to live that way.
That's a deep.
Wow.
Right.
And what are you doing backstage?
I'm working the light board, actually. Yeah, I'm sitting there hitting the go button.
Oh, that button that sticks.
That notorious button, yeah. Yeah, but that's gonna run for 2 weeks. That's the next show coming up, and then we have auditions for the next musical that I hope to be a part of.
The sound mixing. I mean, this is our profession, is sound mixing, not just radio shows, but we produce sound in the other room. And whoever does it over there does a fabulous job. And I went to the Hogtown Medieval Fair this past weekend up in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to this thing?
I haven't. I need to go though because I've had a few friends that have.
They're like acting.
stuff.
Everybody you meet is acting.
Yeah.
They all have this crazy accent. I can't decide if it's British or not. But
it's a little bit. It's like American British.
And I don't know how we decided that's how we talked back in the 1400s. But but anyway, okay. So one observation I made while I was there is you'll have these entertainers, and they will have these microphones on their faces, and it's not the best quality.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I mean, they're doing a good job, and I don't blame them. But at the Civic Theater, you guys, first of all, I can't even see a microphone on you, and the sound quality is pristine. It's like what we would do.
Well, thanks. It's a big.
Where is the
system.
microphone? Is it on you, or is it above you somewhere?
We have two different kinds. We have an over the ear, which is it's literally formed to fit over your ear, and then it's like almost like a Britney Spears microphone.
But you don't see it from
Real
the
thin.
audience.
It's flesh toned. It's really disguised.
Look for the tape.
Right. Yes, the tape is actually the more visible than the microphone itself.
Oh, wow.
The tape. There's a little piece of tape that holds it against their cheek.
Oh, wow.
And then we have one that's the cord slightly thicker on it. It can go over your ear as well, and we usually put it right on our cheekbone, or it's made so that women can put it over their under their wigs.
The hair mic. I call it the hair microphone.
Yeah, it literally sits right there, so the audience will not see it on a woman if she has a wig on.
Yeah.
And but it picks up everything.
Are you in Mamma Mia?
That we haven't had auditions for that. Usually we have, so say the show starts on January 1st. We'll have auditions 7 weeks before that. We'll start rehearsals that next week, so then we have rehearsals for 6 weeks, and then we go on.
So who's the guy? Pierce Brosnan? Is that who was in the movie?
Yes.
Is that the guy?
Yes, one of them.
You know, he really couldn't sing.
No.
Right?
No.
Right? So
He still made the movie, though, didn't he?
Right.
because he's Pierce Brosnan, right?
Right, yeah.
Look at him.
I beg your pardon.
So you know where WSA is sponsoring that one. That's
ours.
That's
Yeah,
the one we're sponsoring. So gosh, I hope you're in it.
I hope so too. I'm hoping for Sam, which is the younger guy who is the one that the daughter eventually chooses.
Oh, okay.
Oh well, let's listen to him.
He has quite a lot of songs in that show.
I think what I am amazed because it is community theater, and I go to this one here, and then I go a Flat Rock Playhouse up in North Carolina. And I call them the sister theaters, you know.
Yeah.
But I've been through to a few community theaters throughout, and the stage crew is the unsung hero.
Yes.
With Shrek, the way they put the castle, how it turned, and the stairs were built into the side of it.
Oh, that
and it
was
came down,
true,
and it was
yeah.
like, and then they came up with at the beginning with the storybook and opened, and then here he is out of the storybook popping out and all this, you know, and then slamming. And these props have to be used night after night, and they have to hold up.
It's really amazing.
Or repaired during the day for the night, for the next,
Right.
for the next. But the minds that are, you know, sure, a lot of the plays come with blueprints, I presume, but a lot of them don't.
Oh, wow.
Right.
You know, because some stages actually, the stage will move, like Flat Rock Playhouse, their stage moves in and out, side to side. So the props are out and then they slide in or slide out. I forget which way it turns.
Yeah.
Some stages have turntables in the middle. The whole screen turns around, you know.
Yeah.
But here it's phenomenal. I mean, I give, what was it, kudos?
Kudos. Absolute kudos to Deion. Kudos to everybody.
But it's the people, the actors,
For sure.
and actresses. I still call them actresses.
The one in one of the things that you remember, Mary Poppins was flying. I mean, that was
Well, that was a whole crew they had to bring in.
that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, those weren't actresses from here?
No. Everybody was
the flying
from here.
crew. The flying crew.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Special
Were you
treat.
in that one? Were you in there?
I was the house boy, Roberts and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like you building a house The actors have to have the tools to work with.
So does that make it easier when it's a big elaborate set, like in the one you're doing right now, the Irving Berlin? What's it called again?
I Love a Piano.
I Love a Piano. There's not, that's kind of minimal.
It's very minimal, which I'm kind of glad for, because what people don't realize is at the end of every show is strike. And so that Sunday, that we always end on a Sunday, that last show ends 4:30, 5 o'clock. We tear the set down that night. Monday, a new show starts getting built.
Oh, the actors,
crew, everybody.
Actors have to tear the set down.
We all help out.
Well, I won't be working there.
Oh, that's too funny.
Joe's back does not strike very well. No.
So who is your role model? Who inspired you to do this? Yeah.
I will say I started in high school. I took theater freshman year, and my high school teacher, Carrie Keenan, she really helped me out. She's actually teaching theater to middle school students in Japan right now. She got a government contract.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, but she definitely started me, and that's what started it.
Deion, it's an honor to have you in our studio, and thank you so much for coming in. And next time I'm in the audience, I'll wave.
Yeah. I'll come by after.
He'll try to distract you while you're doing your line.
Right.
He's that big guy.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Deion, Bruce Howard, on behalf of Ocala, thank you for what you do. You give us something marvelous and exceptional. Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
We will be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. With tax cuts out of the